Welcome, everybody, to Conversations That Matter. I'm your host, Alex Newman. We have a very special guest joining us today, folks. Huawei is a company we have talked about quite a bit at the New American. It is basically a front for the Chinese Communist Party masquerading as a telecommunications company. It is absolutely a tentacle of this regime, and unfortunately, it has infiltrated telecommunications networks around the world. Our guest today, her son was working for a company in Singapore and was ordered to do something that apparently was not only not legal, but also certainly very unwise, and then allegedly committed suicide. At least that's the official story. But our guest today, Mary Todd, says that is not what really happened, something far more sinister. Mary, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Alex. It's a pleasure.
It's an honor and a pleasure to have you, and I'm so sorry about what happened to your son. Please give us the story. So he was in Singapore. He was working for this company, ordered to transfer a bunch of technology to Huawei, basically a CCP front, and what happened from there?
So basically, my son was a PhD in electrical engineering, hired with a Singapore company that was under A-Star, which is a state-run company working for the Chinese Communist Party. And he was working on gallium nitride. He was the only one that was able to, as an American. Gallium nitride is the next level of silicon, highly used for military and civilian use. He was asked to compromise U.S. security with the Chinese Communist Party, with Huawei. He refused to go along with the illegal transfer of technology. He quit his job. His life was being threatened. He started to call us and tell us, "Mom, my life is being threatened." And he had a ticket to come home. He had a job to come home to. On his last day of work, after a big party, he was garroted and hung on a door, which means choked. And we were told that he committed suicide.
So what is your understanding of what happened? I know you told me you have proof that that's not what really happened. So what is your understanding of what happened?
So in God's providence, when we went to check out things, the first thing we noticed was the suicide notes weren't written by my son. They were typed up on his computer, but they were, I homeschooled my kids. They were written by, according to a linguistic expert, they were written by an Asian.
Oh, wow.
And they had two experts, actually. But when we got to his apartment, none of the things that they told us were true. My son was 6'1", and they said he hung himself on a standard door. We noticed that wasn't true. But the main thing was I got what I thought was a little speaker that I threw in a bag, and it ended up being an external hard drive that backed up all Shane's files. And that is where we found the proof of the illegal relationship between IME, Shane's Singapore company, and Huawei, and the illegal transfer of technology. They took Shane's computer, his hard drive, everything, and we found out with a computer forensic expert that Shane's computer was accessed 3 days after his death, and it was a file by Huawei and IME that was opened. They tried to erase it and close it again, and that's what got us started on this long search for what happened to Shane.
Oh, man.
A year later, the Financial Times did a huge spread on what happened, the technology Shane was working on. And we thought, oh, good, now our government will take over the investigation into our son's murder. But that was not the case. And we found out why.
That's unbelievable, Mary. So who do you guys think did this? Was this Chinese intelligence? And how did they get the Singaporeans to cooperate? I assume the Singapore police would have done an investigation. Are they incompetent or are they complicit?
They're complicit. So the Singapore government, A-Star, works for the Chinese Communist Party. And we have found that out. And we have since found out that our government does as well. When we were sitting in Congressman Wolf's office from Virginia, he was working with the FBI. And we were told, you're doing the right thing to investigate your son's murder. You're doing the right thing to ask for a congressional investigation, but you're not going to get anywhere. Huawei, the Chinese Communist Party, has a law firm on every corner in Washington, D.C., and they've gotten several of our elected officials in office, and they stay in office. Yep. And Max Baucus, who happened to be the third most powerful congressman or senator at that time, acted like he was working with us until the day that he was chosen to be the ambassador to China. Now, I've written all of this in a book called Hard Drive, A Family's Fight Against Three Countries, with all the evidence, all the proof. And it also has an acknowledgement by Congressman Wolf talking about our plight.
Yeah. And folks, you can get that book on Amazon. It's called Hard Drive, A Family's Fight Against Three Countries. This was published in 2014. I highly recommend you check this out, folks. Obviously, it's the tip of the iceberg of the evil that is happening. Talk to us a little bit about Huawei and why U.S. officials seem so reluctant. I mean, they speak out every once in a while on the campaign trail, but they seem so reluctant to actually do anything substantive about this. And of course, the Europeans now have their technology all up and down their communications networks. What's going on with Huawei and other than just the lobbyists and attorneys, why is it so difficult to get governments to do anything here?
Money and power. And so Huawei, the Chinese Communist Party, have bought our government. And I ran for Congress twice just to try to get in there to do what I could. I didn't make it, but I'm glad I did because I got a lot of information out. But Huawei is the largest telecommunications company in the world, and it is the technology that they were trying to get from my son is the type of technology that could disappear a 777 flight on its way to Malaysia. That flight had 20 Freescale employees, engineers that were working on the same gallium nitride technology that my son was. That technology is what could disappear an airplane. And it is highly technical. And in my book, I write all the experts that have written about this technology, about what Shane was working on. One that said that our son would have changed the world. So
talk to us about this technology, Mary. I think for most of us, this is something we've never heard of. I think you call it gallium nitrate. What is this?
Okay, it's gallium nitride with a D, and it's I'm going to just read you this. It's GaN is what they call it. Research is the most powerful dynamic advancement in communication and military application. GaN is relatively a new semiconductor, up to 10 times as efficient as the current technology. GaN-based radar, satellite communication, and missile systems can be made lighter and more powerful and faster than its predecessors. And then there were two experts that I have in my book that talked about the technology. They both knew Shane, and they are the ones that said, and many others, the Financial Times article, how powerful this technology is. And when you look into it, that's exactly what the Freescale employees, 20 of them on the Malaysian flight that disappeared, were working on these semiconductors. And I'm on a quest to get people to wake up to the fact that that flight just disappeared. And when you research it, it is highly suspicious and unusual.
Wow, that is amazing. And so what is it that you think should happen here? I mean, if you could pick up the phone right now and call Donald Trump, what would you say to him should be happening as far as the U.S. government is concerned?
Well, I know that there should be a congressional investigation into my son's death. We have all the forensic evidence. We have the DNA evidence. We have the computer evidence. We have so much evidence of his murder. And no, they've never done a thing. They've babysat us basically and were very nice to us, but never researched any of it. In fact, they helped with the cover up. I think it all needs to be exposed. We're not the only one who has lost a child. We're just the only one who has a hard drive. That hard drive tells it all. And they didn't know we had it. Shane's was very smart. He backed up everything the day of his murder on that hard drive, and it was kind of hidden next to his computer, or his television stand. So they got all of his work computers, they got his diary, they got his cell phone, but they didn't get that little teeny hard drive. And that's where we got the information. And if our government truly cares about national security, this is a very important story.
And I want to go back to the airplane. We've only got a few minutes left, but you think this is actually what caused the, I guess, disappearance, all kinds of weird stuff going on with this flight. But you think it was because of this technology and Huawei that this airplane full of engineers was disappeared?
I don't know that for a fact. I really try to write only in facts, and that's what I did in my book. But I know it's something that needs to be investigated because gallium nitride is the type of technology that could disappear an airplane. And boy, nothing to look at here. 20 Freescale employees, engineers working on gallium nitride semiconductors. Nothing to see there. And that's where I say we are being foolish as a country if we do not look into this. I don't have the evidence yet, but I think somebody will come up with it, and I will continue to speak about it.
And what should we be doing with Huawei? What do you think Congress ought to be doing? What do you think the Trump administration ought to be doing? What do you think the FBI ought to be doing about this company?
Well, I think we should put a complete ban on the company, which we have somewhat. You know, they've broken into Congressman Wolf told us when they broke into our offices in Washington, D.C. to steal our technology. They've infiltrated all of our university with the Confucius Institute. They have infiltrated our Hollywood. My book has been in 3 movie deals, and every single one, the Chinese Communist Party has put a kibosh on. The last one, they started threatening writers' lives that were writing the screenplay based on the book Hard Drive. And so they've infiltrated. Now they're buying our farmlands. You know, it's really an infiltration. And I feel like God has raised me up for such a time as this, that this story is not going to be in vain, that my son's death will not be in vain. I'm fighting for our country.
Wow, this is scary. Are you concerned about your own safety and well-being, Mary?
Well, you'll see in the book, I have had, they really tried to intimidate me. My house was broken into, my computer was hacked, they got into our alarm system, my phones have been bugged, all kinds of things have happened. But I believe that God is protecting me and I'm not afraid. And if, you know, I'm in his hands and I will just tell the truth no matter what. I am a mother on a mission.
Praise the Lord. And what do you think people should be doing about this, Mary? We've got a lot of people listening to us, watching us, wondering, oh, wow, that's not good. What do I do?
Well, first of all, if you have a venue that I can speak at, I love to talk about national security. Invite me. I would be happy. I don't charge. I come and I just tell our story, and it's an eye opener. But secondly, start calling your congressmen and your senators to say, do something about this. And do something about what's happening with the Chinese Communist Party. You can read the book Red Handed by Peter Schweitzer, and it outlines it perfectly, what the Chinese Communist Party 100-year plan is to take over as the biggest world power. And people need to wake up and understand how very serious this is. So please educate yourselves.
Yep, absolutely. Folks, we've done a lot of reporting on the CCP over the years, and this is the kind of stuff that precedes much greater dangers. They don't just go around killing people for fun or for no reason. They've got a much bigger agenda. It is a massive threat to our national security. Huawei is one tentacle of a machine that unfortunately has infiltrated now every aspect of our society, our culture, our government, our political parties, our Congress. It's out of control. The book is Hard Drive, A Family's Fight Against 3 Countries, by Mary Todd and Christina Villegas. Mary, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your courage in sharing your son's story. And please keep us updated. We want to keep our audience updated as well.
Thank you so much for having me, Alex. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You as well. All right, folks. Again, this is really serious. It's really, really serious. It's the tip of the iceberg, what's going on. So share this out. Send it to your congressman. Send it to your elected officials. And stay tuned to thenewamerican.com for more. I'm Alex Newman. This is Conversations That Matter. Until next time, God bless you all.